Words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand corrected.
Likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show.
Imagine a show that redefined daytime TV, a cultural titan where fiery debates and sharp wit ruled for decades. The View wasn't just a talk show. It was a battleground, a stage where hosts like Whoopi Goldberg became legends, shaping how America talked about politics, culture, and everything in between. But what happens when a giant stumbles? When a single guest, a single segment, and a single lawsuit threaten to burn it all down? This isn't just a courtroom drama. It's the darkest hour of a media empire, and it's unfolding right now. Picture a studio buzzing with smug laughter, a young woman under siege, and a moment that explodes into a war nobody saw coming. This is history in the making, and it all started with one fateful morning. Ready to dive in? It kicked off on the set of The View, where the hosts were locked and loaded. Karoline Leavitt, a conservative star whose rapid rise had rattled political cages, walked into a trap. The lead host, a TV icon with a trophy case of accolades, didn't bother with a warm-up. Her smirk was a blade, slicing Leavitt's career to a fluke of hashtags and hype. Another host, a veteran of savage one-liners, piled on, mocking Leavitt's ascent like it was a reality show stunt. The third, a lawyer-turned-commentator with a smile that hid venom, landed the cruelest jab, calling Leavitt's journey a privileged white girl's game of political dress-up. The audience lapped it up, their applause shaking the studio. But this wasn't new for The View. The show had dodged scandals before, fired hosts, boycotts, accusations of bullying guests. Yet it always survived, its hosts thriving on their pack mentality. Behind the scenes, though, the crew knew this segment was different. Whispers among producers hinted at a plan to make it viral, with one staffer later leaking that the hosts were coached to go hard. Leavitt sat there, her calm a stark contrast to the chaos, her eyes scanning each host like she was memorizing their moves. The laughter rang out, but a storm was brewing. Curious what she did next, most guests would have cracked, stormed off, tweeted a rant, or fed the X outrage machine. Not Karoline Leavitt. She didn't flinch, didn't cry, didn't even post a "I" shady meme. Instead, she dropped a bomb that shook the industry, an $800 million defamation lawsuit aimed at the hosts and ABC itself. This wasn't about hurt feelings. It was about a calculated hit job, a claim that the segment was engineered to torch her name. Leavitt, barely 30, was no stranger to battles. She'd advised top campaigns, faced down critics who called her too young, and built a following that saw her as a conservative prodigy. To the hosts, she was a punching bag. To her fans, she was a warrior. When the lawsuit hit, X exploded. Hashtags like "Justice for Karoline" trended in hours, with memes of the hosts' smug faces flooding timelines. One viral post read, "They tried to bury her, but she brought a shovel." Critics called it a stunt. Supporters saw it as a middle finger to media elites. Rumors swirled that Leavitt had been collecting evidence for weeks, turning every insult into ammunition. Some even whispered she'd been tipped off about the segment's plan by a disgruntled ABC staffer. The shock wasn't just the lawsuit's size, it was where it led. Ready for the courtroom? The courtroom was a world apart from The View's warm lights. No applause, no laugh tracks, just a silence that felt like a held breath. Leavitt's legal. Team came armed with a mountain of evidence that left jaws on the floor. Unedited clips played on loop, each jab, about Leavitt's voice, her intellect, her looks, hitting harder than on TV. Internal emails surfaced, one urging producers to let her squirm for clicks. Another, allegedly from a top exec, joked about pushing Leavitt to the edge for a ratings spike. The bombshell was a leaked memo, one of two rumored to exist, instructing the team to exploit Leavitt's youth and throw her off balance for drama. Whispers of a second memo, still hidden, suggested ABC might have tried to bury it, sparking rumors of a cover-up. The judge, a steely veteran, leaned forward, her pen pausing as the memo's words echoed. A witness, a former producer, testified about pressure to make it brutal, their voice shaking. Spectators gasped, some muttering about ABC's arrogance. Legal analysts scribbled furiously. One caught on a hot mic saying, "This isn't banter, it's a conspiracy." The clips kept rolling, each one a nail in the coffin of The View's defense. But the moment everyone's still buzzing about? It's next. That moment belonged to Whoopi Goldberg, a titan whose wit had weathered countless storms. But in that courtroom, she was crumbling. As the evidence piled up, her cool shattered. Eyewitnesses saw it, a flinch at the first clip, a clenched jaw during the memo, then her hands covering her face like she could hide from reality. Her signature shades couldn't mask the glassy eyes or smudged makeup. She whispered frantically to her lawyer, her words lost but her panic clear. Sources say she insisted she didn't know about the memos, that she was just the talent, reading cues. But when her lawyer argued ignorance isn't a defense on a platform of millions, the judge's stare was ice cold. Whoopi's hands trembled as she clutched her notes, her usual fire gone. X lit up with speculation. Some said she'd quit before the trial's end, others rumored a memoir to salvage her legacy, maybe even an apology tour. Her inner circle, once vocal, went quiet, with one friend leaking she was devastated but defiant. The silence in that courtroom was louder than any clapback. And the chaos? It was just beginning. At ABC, the network was a pressure cooker. Executives scrambled in all-night meetings, tearing through contracts and dodging advertiser calls. Brands like Unilever and Target, though unconfirmed, were whispered to be pulling ads to escape the scandal's stench. Ratings for The View tanked, down 35% in 2 weeks, as loyal viewers tuned out, feeling betrayed. New viewers watched not for laughs, but for a fall from grace. Crew leaks fueled the fire. One staffer claimed producers were scapegoating the hosts to save their jobs. Another said Joy Behar was mulling retirement to dodge the heat. Sunny Hostin, with her legal background, faced whispers she should have seen the risks. Rumors of a secret settlement surfaced, with ABC allegedly offering Leavitt millions to drop the case, only for her to refuse. Financially, the damage was brutal. One report estimated $50 million in lost ad revenue, with more bleeding daily. Marketing teams pitched desperate fixes, guest hosts, a kinder rebrand, even pausing the show. On X, users piled on, sharing old clips of the hosts' controversies, rants against politicians, tone-deaf takes on race and gender. Hashtags like #End the View surged, turning a lawsuit into a reckoning. But this wasn't just about one show, was it? This fight is a cultural tsunami, rewriting the rules of media. Legal experts call it a potential landmark case, one that could force talk shows to rethink guest treatment, especially for those with unpopular views. On X, Leavitt's supporters crown her a hero against elite media bias, sharing clips of her speeches with captions like, "She's unstoppable." Critics, though, paint her as a schemer, turning a TV spat into a political crusade. Memes of Whoopi's courtroom facepalm go viral, captioned, "When your script flops." Hashtags like "Want Your Justice for Karoline" and "My Eager Media Accountability" dominate, with thousands rallying behind Leavitt. But some X-posts question her motives, claiming she's milking the drama to launch a conservative media empire. Others speculate similar lawsuits are brewing, with producers at rival networks scrubbing old tapes for risks. The debate rages. Is this justice or vengeance? One X user summed it up. Leavitt's either saving TV or burning it down, whispers. Of The View's cancellation grow, with insiders saying ABC's weighing a quiet end. The public's hooked, not just on the drama, but on the stakes. Could this change how we talk on air? And at the heart of it is one woman who refused to break. Ready to meet her? Karoline Leavitt isn't your typical plaintiff. Before this, she was a force, advising top campaigns, speaking at sold-out rallies, and shrugging off critics who called her too young or too bold. Her rise was a gauntlet. Skeptics mocked her age, rivals smeared her as a flash in the pan. Each jab on The View was a dagger, echoing every hurdle she'd smashed. In court, she didn't lean on tears or theatrics. She sat with her spine like steel, hands folded, eyes burning through the room. Her legal team built a fortress, raw footage, Transcripts, emails, metadata, even timestamps proving the segment's edits amplified her humiliation. This wasn't chaos. It was a choreographed takedown, exposed second by second. Leavitt's silence outside court was her superpower. No teary interviews, no X rants, just a focus that turned her into an icon. On X, her fan base swelled, sharing her old speeches with captions like, "The calm and the storm." Rumors swirled she's eyeing a media platform post-trial, a truth-driven outlet to rival the giants. Her fight isn't just for her name, it's for every voice drowned by a studio laugh track. And the industry, it's trembling. That tremble is shaking other talk shows to their core. Producers at rival networks are in panic mode, auditing old segments for anything that could spark a Leavitt-style lawsuit. One insider claimed a major late-night show axed a planned roast of a senator, citing the Leavitt effect. Legal teams are rewriting contracts, adding clauses to shield against defamation claims. Some fear this could chill free speech on TV, forcing hosts to tiptoe around hot topics. Others say it's long overdue, holding networks accountable for weaponizing airtime. Advertisers are pickier, demanding clean shows free of scandal. On X, the debate rages. One post asked, "Is Leavitt saving TV or killing its edge?" Another claimed rival shows are already softening their tone, with one host reportedly apologizing preemptively for past jabs. The ripple effect is real, and it's not just talk shows. Newsrooms, podcasts, even streamers are watching, wary of their own red lines. The industry's on notice. The camera's power isn't absolute anymore. And with the trial still raging, the stakes keep climbing. But it's not just the industry talking, it's the public shaping this story. On X, viewers are the jury, their posts driving the narrative. One user wrote, "Leavitt's exposing what we've all suspected. TV thrives on tearing people down." Another countered, "She's playing the victim for clout. Don't fall for it." Polls pop up daily. Should The View be canceled? Gets 60% yes. Memes of the host's courtroom faces, Whoopi's slump, Joy's scowl, rack up millions of views captioned, "When you realize karma's real." Supporters flood Leavitt's X page with heart emojis and "keep fighting." Critics jab back, calling her a snowflake who can't handle TV's heat. The split is raw, emotional, and relentless, turning a lawsuit into a cultural referendum. One X thread went viral asking, "Who's really on trial, The View or the media itself?" Thousands chimed in, their comments a mix of rage, hope, and skepticism. This isn't just a case, it's a movement, and the public's voice is louder than any gavel. But who's pulling the strings behind the scenes? The unseen players are just as critical. ABC's legal team, a squadron of high-priced attorneys, is fighting to save the network's skin. Sources say they're pushing a free speech defense, arguing The View's jabs were just robust debate. But leaks from the crew paint a messier picture. Staffers are turning on each other, some slipping evidence to Leavitt's team to dodge blame. One producer reportedly quit, citing toxic pressure to spin the scandal. Leavitt's advisors, a tight-knit group of legal and PR pros, are her secret weapon. Rumors say they've been gaming out this fight for months, even before the segment aired, anticipating a media ambush. On X, speculation runs wild. Some claim ABC's team is prepping a last-ditch apology to settle. Others say Leavitt's advisors are pushing for a public trial to maximize impact. These players, lawyers, leakers, strategists, are the chess masters, moving pieces while the public watches the board. And with every move, the tension spikes. So, where does this leave us? A show that ruled TV is on its knees, its hosts fractured, its network bleeding trust and millions. A young woman, mocked, on live air, is now a force rewriting media's rules. Will Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit end The View's reign or spark a revolution that reshapes how we talk on screen? Questions pile up. Will a second memo surface, blowing the case wide open? Could the hosts turn on each other to save themselves? Is ABC hiding a settlement, or will Leavitt push for total victory? And what if she wins, not just in court, but in the public's eyes? The cameras stopped rolling on that segment, but the story's alive on X, where hashtags like "Are your justice for Karoline" and "You end the view" keep the fire raging. Join the conversation, search those tags, and weigh in. What do you think? Can one person dismantle a media empire, or is this the start of a reckoning we'll feel for decades? Let that sink in as the courtroom clock ticks louder.